Welcome back to my channel once again. The subject for today's discussion is YAL versus Christ. Most prolific symbol of Christ. Which is the most prolific symbol of Christ? Let me show you. This is the most prolific symbol of Christ. In any church, whether it is a Gnostic church, whether it is Orthodox church, or whatever be the denomination of the church, it uses this symbol. It almost looks like a combination of letter P here, it is letter P, right? And the letter X, right? That's a letter X. So today we will discuss about this symbol, why it is so, and what is its significance. So, most prolific symbol of Christ is depicted as combination of Greek letters G and Rho. Rho looks like somewhat like English alphabet P, whereas G looks like the English alphabet X. Let us now see why this symbol is used. Of course, these two letters are the first two letters of the word Christ written in Greek. If you write the word Christ in Greek, these are the first two letters, Christ. So far so good, but I feel there is a lot more to it than just being first two letters of Christ's name. Okay, so it's not just like that. They had these two letters to symbolize Christ. The letter now in Greek is very much similar. The letter rho in Greek is very much similar to letter P of English alphabets, and the letter G in Greek looks very similar to letter X of English alphabets. So by now, you may have understood where I am going with this, right? So whenever we say X, obviously we are referring to Christ, right? Now, letter X of English alphabets is of course associated with Christ, as in Xmas. Now, what does letter P indicate? Letter P is the 16th letter in English alphabets, 16th. According to classification of ions, that is in my classification of ions, I have associated letter P with 16 square. Of course, so it is the 16th letter. So from A to Z, we have 26 ions, and of those, P is the 16th ion. So now let us deviate a bit and discuss about Sun. S-U-N, Sun. Yes, Sun is denoted by 4 cube. If you follow my kind of explanation, my terminology, then I always associate the Sun with the number 4 cube, which is also equal to 8 squared. Of course, it is the actual number being 64. After number 1, 64 is the number which is both a square and a cube. If you observe, 64 can be expressed as 4 cube as well as 8 squared. Here 4 cube, 8 squared, 64. All three are same. Similarly, 1 cube, 1 squared and 1 are all same, in the sense 1 squared is equal to 1 cubed. So 1 is the first number which follows this rule, that it could as well a square as well as be a cube. 4 is the next one in the line, in the sequence. So after number 164 is the number which is both a square and a cube. For a number to be both a square and a cube, it has to be of power of 6. In the sense, it should be either 1 raised to 6, 2 raised to 6, 3 raised to 6, like that. Why? Obviously, why 6? Because when you raise a number to another number and that combination x raised to y is raised to z, let us say z. So when you express this power, you multiply y and z. You express it as x equal to y, x raised to y z. That means yz, the multiplication of these two numbers should be equal to 6. Which two numbers give you the multiplication of, but when multiplied 6? 2 and 3, 2 into 3. That is, a squared cubed or a cube squared will have a power of 6, right? So now coming back. So number one is the first such instance where 1 raised to 6 equal to 1. So 1 cube squared or 1 squared cube also is 1. So for 1 is the first number. 4 cubed equal to 8 squared equal to 64. In the sense, 64 is 2 raised to 6. That is 2 cubed squared. That is 2 cubed is 8. 8 squared, you can express 64 as 8 squared or 2 squared cubed, in sense 4 cubed. So 64 can be expressed as both 4 cubed or and 8 squared. Then what naturally we will be inquisitive to know which number comes next in this series. Which number is both a square and a cube as well. So thus, the next number, I am giving you the next number. It is 4096. So this 4096 is nothing but 16 cubed and 64 squared. If you take a calculator and calculate, let us say 16 raised to 3, 4096, right? And the same thing is 64 raised to 2, 4096 again. That means 4096 is both a square and a cube. Now, letter P is the 16th letter in English alphabets. So now I think where I am driving it, to which end I am taking this conversation to. right? Letter P is the 16th letter in English alphabets. According to classification of ions, it is 16 squared equal to 256. It is, yeah, of course, we have gone through this. Let us continue with the next slide. So we can conclude that 4096 is equal to 16 cubed equal to 64 squared is the sum of next world. Basically, for a star to be the sun of a particular planetary system, it has to be both a square and a cube. Just like 64. 64 is both a square and a cube. So next such number is 4096. So 4096 is the sun of the next world, which we call, in colloquial terms, we call it heaven. Okay. So what 4 is for this present realm, that is this material world in which we live, what 4 is to this world, 16 is to the next world. That is, if you want to live in this material world, the energy comes in the packets of 4. 4 cubed, 8 squared, like that. So 4 is the minimum. 4 cube, when you split 4 cube, the least energy quanta will be 4, right? So similarly, in the next world, the least energy quanta is 64. There is nothing less than 64 belongs to heaven. So naturally, to which world it belongs to? Of course, it is to our material world, right? Now, sun is 64 here, in the sense the highest energy of this world, material world, is the least energy packet of heaven, the next world. If you have the energy 10 raised to 64, you qualify to enter the next one. Now let us see how 24th letter X of English alphabets is related to evolution of man. 24 represents Christ. We all know that, right? As in X Mass. So, who is this Christ figure? Christ is the one who guides souls from this realm to the next realm. He is the gateway, kind of a gateway. You have the what do you call between two countries. You have an embassy, right? You have an embassy there. You go to that embassy and you show your passport and that can get it stamped, right? So that you can enter the other country. And there's an officer there for that embassy, right? So Christ is like the facilitator between the two worlds of this material world and heaven. So as we all know, there are 23 pairs of chromosomes in humans, right? Any science student, with minimum high school knowledge will know that there are 23 pairs of chromosomes in humans. Christ is the guy who has 24 pairs of chromosomes and helps cross the three-dimensional energy barrier of 3 into 23, that is 69, and enter the four-dimensional energy realm of 4 into 24, that is 96. Basically, it may be a little confusing for you. When I say, if you had you watched my first video, you would have realized that the fall of Sophia started at 14, I told. In the sense 14 squared is nothing but 196 and 13 squared is nothing but 169. So do you see any resemblance here? Any relation? Of course. If you add 100 10 squared, 10 squared is nothing but you have to add 10 squared to these numbers because whenever you count life starts from 121. When 10 is over, the energy 10 is always energy. When energy is over, in the sense reaches peak, then the life starts. Energy reaches 121, then life starts. I told in many videos before. So whatever this number, the chromosome number is, that life will automatically have 10 squared, and in addition to 10 squared we have 23 chromosomes, amounting to 69. That is, total will come to 169. And in case of four-dimensional energy, that is 24 chromosomes. 4 into 24, 96 plus 100, 100 being the minimum threshold for life. 100 plus 96 is 196, which is nothing but 14 squared. So basically we need to promote this material world is totally made up of uh, energy ion 13, in the sense 169 is a barrier. It is the, basically, what do you call, it is the border, that's it. Beyond 169 no life exists here, right? 23, of course, human being is the highest form of animal here, right? If we consider ourselves animal, I mean, when I say that, I am referring to organic, inorganic, right? If you take away inorganic material, if you come to organic material, there is animal kingdom and or just inorganic material, just rocks and all these minerals and all that. There are lifeless uh, uh, material, simple material. We are also material. Life is also has also material, but it has soul to the energy, right? So anyway, so 169 is the highest form of life, at least on this face of the earth. Now, Christ figure is the one who has 24 chromosomes, which are needed to cross the threshold of 169, that is beyond 13 squared. That is, we are entering the next ion, 14 squared, which is represented by letter N. That's what I called Sophia, right? And also I may have already shown you uh, the mapping between the CGGs. I may have already shown you, but let me check once again. I will show you, because that's very important here. We need to understand that. Unless we understand that, we cannot understand further. Okay, mostly this is the one. Yeah. So here the English alphabets T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z represent the spiritual emanations of ions, and their corresponding material CGGs or twins are J, K, L, M, N, O, P. So if you look at the letter X in the above row here, And what is the corresponding CGG here? It is N, right? So the physical manifestation of Christ will be in the form of N, of, of course, but we all know, let us go back to our present discussion. Okay. Yeah. Where were we today? Okay. Okay, well, probably I didn't copy to this folder, I think. Let us continue with this. Uh, G row we have covered. This also we have covered. 64. This also we covered. Yep. So we concluded that we are discussing the letter 24th letter of X of English alphabets. That is nothing but Christ. And Christ is the guy with 4 into 24 uh, chromosomes. That is 96 plus 100 if you add energy to, I mean, so that we include life. Life. So without 100, this 96 will be just a inorganic chemical compound element, right? There is an element called named after Madame Curie. It is called curium. Okay, so this guy, Christ, is needed to cross that border. I always, I'm very fond, in fact, very fond of uh, this apocryphon, and so I have more often than not I refer to this. See here, this is Sophia, nothing but N. N is the 14th ion, and she fell to this wisdom, fallen Sophia. Sophia is above here, wisdom, and wisdom has fallen to fallen Sophia, which is nothing but 13 squared. 13 squared gave birth to Yalabath, right? We all, many a time we discussed that, right? So, going back to our slide again, let me go back to slide. Okay. So this guy 24 on 196 is needed, very much needed to lead you to. Yeah, I think I have forgotten here to tell you about the beginning of 16. The very first ion, which belongs to the next world. I mean, in the heaven. We just now we saw that it is 14 is of course first ion when you cross the border, but there is ion 15, there is ion 16. 16 is the guy we are interested in here, right? Because row looks like 16, P is nothing but 16. So this to reach 256, that is why it always, a zero symbol always says the row is almost like a pin attached to an X, right? Piercing an X. That is, X is the agent who basically facilitates the soul to reach the 256, the limit of 256, which is nothing but the first step in heaven, right? X is of course needed, but X himself is not x is 196 at the total. If you take the whole total, it is 196. 196 is not, that has not crossed 200. See, as 100 is for life, 200 is for the heavens life. I mean, minimum you should have 200 here to qualify for heaven, in the qualify in the sense to become, to completely live in heaven. So this 14 guy, or the 96 guy, 14 squared, is also not quite in heaven. So who is the first guy who is in the heaven? He is the 15th guy. 15th guy, 15 squared is 225, which is very much in the heaven. But what happened to 225? 225, let us see. Yaldabaoth had 25 pairs of chromosomes. Basically, we all think that Yaldabaoth is in this lower realm. Why he is in the lower realm? Because he was a god. He was a god. Lucifer was the most brilliant of all angels. Lucifer is nothing but Osiris. Osiris is nothing but O, the letter O, ion represented by letter O, that is 15 squared. But we all know the fate of 15 squared. 15 squared had to divide into these cubes. That is, those are, can be compared to snakes. Basically, in Hindu mythology, we have a guy called Mara. Let me explain it a little bit later, probably. Let us finish this. So, the 15, though he was in heaven, Lucifer was very much in heaven, he fell. He was in the heaven, but he fell to, let me show you that figure again. Here, he was very much here. He was even higher than Sophia. Higher than Sophia, he was very much soundly in heaven. But he fell down. He had to fall. He fell down because this guy Lucifer or Osiris are denoted by letter O, basically the 15th emanation. 15th emanation fell down, and with 13 emanation, 13 and 15 came together and basically created all these archons, lower archons, and this even lower, what do you call, the five archons of the abyss. This is the abyss. Abyss is nothing but the Patala, or whatever you call in Hindu mythology. That is the abyss. And these seven archons are where the planets, and we live in this region. This is the border of heaven, heavenly water. This is fallen Sophia. That is Sophia. And just above Sophia, we have the Yalabath. The Osiris, Lucifer, whatever. Anyway, so coming back to our discussion for today, the 15 had to split into this. 15 squared split into that. His energy was, in fact, you see here we had 24 chromosomes, 4 times 4 dimensional, 4 into 24 is 96, 5 into 25 is 125, even higher. But unfortunately, for 5 cube basically, so even higher he had power. That 15 5 cube plus 100 is 125, 225, sorry, 225 is nothing but 15 squared, right? 15 squared had to split, and and he had to remain in the three-dimensional world, though he himself built it from scratch and he rules it with whatever hand. Well, anyway, this is that is the main reason why Yalbad hates Christ, and who is, though his younger brother, 24, is uh, less than 25. He was younger brother. He was 14th ion. This guy is 15th ion, yet he could not qualify for heaven as he was not stable and he had to break down into pieces. That is why wherever you have uh, these names, they always indicate wherever this many comes into picture, Yal that represents Yalabad, and wherever one comes into picture, that is basically Christ, and above Christ, P. The letter P. The letter P is nothing but 16 squared, which we can call the one. The one is basically the beginning of the next world. That is, he is the father of the lower world. The one, that is why we have the rho and chi symbols in the very widely used to represent Christ. It is in fact it is combination of the Father and the Son. Father being rho, 16th ion P, and Sun being the 14th ion N, that is the physical manifestation of 20, letter ion 20, 24th ion. 24th ion has physical manifestation in ion 14. So that's pretty much what I wanted to discuss today. So let us discuss about what do you call a guy called very important guy called Kashyapa in the next discussion. For now, I want to close it here because basically they're getting very big and it's getting very difficult for me to edit the content if ever I want to. So let us keep them within half an hour uh, range so that it'll be easier on you as well, and easier for me to edit. Anyway, thanks for listening. Let us meet some other time. Bye for now.